Let me just see. Why don't we start in a comfortable seat? I think I'm called a little bit to do some work through the stress holding points of the entire spine. So in particular, the neck, the shoulders, upper back, and lower back. So we might give the legs a bit of a break today, and we'll really focus on what's happening through those stress holding points. So as you come into your comfortable seat and arrive on the mat, just allow your hands to rest down somewhere on the lap. Feel the shoulders actively rest into the side ribs. And feel the blades drop down the back. And as you arrive physically, begin to feel the places in the body that are in contact with the mat. And notice if they might be able to become a bit heavier. So the outside edges of the feet, maybe we just relax the knees more and you feel a bit more weight come into those feet. Same with the sits bones, relaxing down into the hips, imagining that your spine could actually just kind of rest and settle and be rooted there, right in the center of the pelvis. And then simply open the chest, making space for breath. Create space around the corners of the lips and the corners of the eyes. As the body begins to melt and soften, arrive into your breath by noticing the gentle rhythm of inhale and exhale. Your mind will naturally wander at this point, right at the beginning of class. So to help still the mind as the body becomes still, imagine watching the light move with your breath. So imagine a tiny point of light at the base of your spine, and it rises up your spine on the inhale and drops down your spine on the exhale. You watch that gentle magnetic pull upward, never losing contact with the base of the spine as that light stretches up to the crown. And that gentle cascade downward from crown back to base of spine. So every thought that arises, before you attach a storyline to that thought, guide yourself back to the breath and simply watch as light rises and light falls. On your next exhale, allow the chin to drop down to the chest, feeling the head hang heavy. And then gently roll your right ear to your right shoulder, giving a little bit of downward-outward pressure into that knee through the hand. Just feeling the stretch come deeper. Let the chin drop down through the chest, bringing left ear now to left shoulder. A bit of downward-outward pressure into that right knee. And drop the chin to the chest once again. This time, arms will inhale overhead. Interlace your fingers as they arrive overhead. Press the palms up to the ceiling, elbows bending very gently to create space. And feel the stretch now come across the front of the chest. Keeping that head drop down, allowing the back of the neck to continue to open. And continuing with that long, full breath cycle in and complete breath cycle out. Feel the hands as they wrap down around the base of the skull now. Let the elbows wrap into the temples and use the weight here to release the neck even deeper. Relaxing your hands to your knees, roll your right ear over to your right shoulder. Take that right hand up over the left side of the head. And again, a bit of downward, outward pressure into the left knee as you feel the stretch come deeper. Let the chin drop gently toward that right collarbone. Feel the stretch change. Relax your hand to the knee, drop the chin to the chest. Before we roll to the other side, let your shoulders roll to the ears and drop them down the back. Let the left ear come to your left shoulder as you take the left hand up now over right side of head. Pressing downward and outward through that right hand now. Gentle tuck of your chin toward that left collarbone as you change the stretch. Releasing the hand to the knee, dropping the chin to the chest. And again, rolling the shoulders to the ears. And releasing them down the back. Now level the head over the shoulders. We're going to take the arms up overhead, just as we did before, interlacing fingers, palms pressing to ceiling, elbows bending gently. As you breathe in, you'll reach up and over to your right side. Now, when we're in a comfortable seat like this, that left hip kind of wants to reach up. If it means you will come out of your stretch more to root your hip, I'd rather the hip be rooted. It's more about creating space from the hip to that rib rather than coming over deeper. So if the hip moves down and the rib moves up, that's what we're going for. Now inhale right through center, and as you exhale, take the right hand behind and the left hand across, and simply find a twist here. So you're taking the length that you created in the waist and you're bringing it across the body now. Inhale, draw both arms up through center once again, interlacing the fingers, palms pressing upward, and pinky side of the hand pressing back. This time, lift the chest up, lift your gaze up to the back of those knuckles, feel the back of the neck kind of compress a little bit. Lift up through the gaze. Good, you're going to reach up and over now to your left side, rooting the right hip down so you create more space over the waist. Inhale to come through center, and as you exhale, separating the hands, left hand behind, right hand across. Gently coming back through center. We'll take the soles of the feet to touch here. And you're simply going to lift your chest up and circle around. So we're loosening up into the inner groin here, but by doing that, we're opening your low spine. One more time to your right, and then we'll circle to your left side. And as you come through center, let your hands rest down inside the legs and drop your head, starting to fold forward. And when you reach the point where you feel your legs, relax the fold and start to round the spine a little bit. So it looks a little bit like this. So you fold forward until you reach that point where you go, okay, my legs have had it. And then you drop the belly button back to the spine, round the spine, head drops heavy. Feeling as if the muscles across your back are simply draping over the ribs. From here, lengthen your chest forward and then up to that long spine. Good. Pull your ankles into your hands and your hands into your ankles. So there's this kind of forward pressure through the ankles, backward pressure through the hands. That lifts and opens across the chest. And you feel the shoulder blades draw toward one another in the upper back. Now, tuck your navel round your spine, tuck your chin. Again, resist hands to feet, feet to hands, lift and open the chest here. So very slow cat-cow movement of your spine. Rounding out one last time. Now from this rounded position, you're going to take your left hand, place it on top of your right hand or wrist, and push back through the left rib in the back. So you feel a deeper rounding over the left shoulder blade here. Inhale, neutral spine comes through center. Exhale, left hand to left, right hand to left hand. And push back through the right rib cage, feeling more rounding across that upper right shoulder blade. And slowly release. Coming to neutral, hands will come to the outside edges of the knees. Draw the soles of the feet to the floor. And you're going to turn your fingers, and so your hands will come behind you. Turn your fingers inward. And then push into the heel of the hand and simply open up across the chest. You'll feel it not only across the chest, but down into the front part of the arm. We'll take this a little bit deeper the next time we come into this pose. But for now, just breathe across the chest. And slowly relax. We're going to come onto your knees. So you'll kind of find your way from reverse tabletop to tabletop pose. Just coming onto your knees and dropping your chest through your shoulders. So now the very opposite of what we just did. We kind of drew the shoulder blades down and toward one another but flat. Now we're going to lift them up away from the body and pull the chest toward the thumbs without bending those elbows. So you're feeling the muscles lift up away from the rib cage. And then very slowly just push into the heels of the hands. Space between the blades rounds like a rainbow from shoulder blade to shoulder blade. Drop the chest down again, shoulder blades lift up off of the back. Push the blades onto the back, round that upper back like a rainbow. Last time, drop those blades. And then round the upper spine. Now, not as exaggerated, this time you'll simply keep the shoulder blades on the back, but lengthen your chest forward and let your belly draw toward the floor in this cow belly. So traditional cow belly, and then traditional full cat back as navel pulls to spine, and hips push back toward heels this time. Inhaling, find neutral spine. On an exhale, walk your hands forward, happy puppy pose, a little bit deeper across the chest. We're not super warm yet, so a very shallow happy puppy here. And then walking those hands back, standing on your knees. Let the hands come behind you into those imaginary back pockets. Upper arms roll toward one another. Chest lifts toward chin, and you start to come back over that imaginary exercise ball or beach ball behind you. And slowly come right back to neutral. Hands to the earth, tabletop pose. Right hand into center. Left arm lifts up and opens. As you breathe out, you'll press and twist. Deep inhale, open. Exhale, press and twist. Last time, inhale, open. As you exhale, land your shoulder and your temple to the earth. Reach the fingertips of the right arm forward and breathe here. We're here for 2 more breaths. Your option is to take the right hand up and let the palm rest on the small of the back, using the fingertips of the left hand to open up the shoulder. We introduced these types of movements last week as well. Slowly release both hands to the earth, pressing into your right palm, coming back to neutral tabletop. Find a cat-cow here. Belly down, chest open. Spine rounds, tuck the chin. Neutral spine, left hand to center. Inhale up, and as you exhale, press and twist. Go ahead, inhale up. Exhale, press and twist. Last time, you'll rise and reach. And then press and twist, landing shoulder, landing temple, reaching the arm out. Breathing deeply, feeling the gentle stretch over the side of the waist. Last 2 breaths, you can rise that arm up, taking the palm to the small of the back and using the right fingertips to the inner left shoulder to open that shoulder deeper. Release your hands, press into your left palm, come back to neutral tabletop. Again, 1 cat-cow here. Dropping down, lengthening and opening forward. Rounding the spine, pushing the hips to the heels, feel your low back open. Staying in this rounded spine, you'll push your hips over to the left side. Come back through center and take it over to your right side. Coming right back to center, neutral spine. Walk your hands back, standing on your knees and taking your hands again to those imaginary back pockets. Shoulders rolling open, chest lifting, tiny back bend here. If you feel crunching in the low back, pull the navel to the spine deeper. That should release. And slowly release, hands to the earth. Walking your hands out, happy puppy. So again, only the second happy puppy here, not super open. Taking your time. And then from happy puppy, coming right down into a prone position on the belly and having your forearms support you. So you're propped up onto your forearms. You want your upper arm bones to come up towards your ears and your head to drop heavy here. And this is one of those poses, much like that toes pose that we took the other night, where every single body will experience this a bit differently. So the feeling is this intense feeling of muscle pulling up away from bone and kind of draping there to release. You may need to walk elbows in or out or toward one another to find the deepest expression for you. But head is hanging off of those shoulders like a bowling ball. Imagining that you're drawing that weight down toward the floor as if the center of the forehead wants to rest. Slowly press into those forearms, relaxing that neck, taking the hands out beside you, tent your fingers, look like little spider legs here, and simply twist, dropping your left shoulder as you look over your right shoulder. Coming through center, dropping right shoulder, looking over left shoulder. One more time, you'll drop and look over right. And then you'll drop and look over left. Coming right back to neutral, hands underneath your shoulders. Coming back to your tabletop pose. 1 cat-cow here. Rounding out that spine. Walking your hands back, standing on your knees. Taking the arms out like the letter T. You're going to take your left arm under your right arm. Now you can either hug the shoulders or you can wrap your forearms and hook anything that you can grab hold of. But wherever you are, elbows are up. And we're going to really focus on the shoulder blades broadening. So imagine if you're hugging the shoulders, you could actually pull the blades forward and take the space between the blades back. Feel that rounding. If you're in eagle wrap, same thing is happening. Good, release here, neutral spine, hands resting down, palms face forward. Let your right fingertips drop down toward outer knee, left arm will reach up. Bicep by the ear, palm facing downward here. Inhale, we rise up, both arms reach. Exhale, left palm faces forward, right palm faces the floor as you come up and over to your left side. Good, inhale, rise through center. Exhale, hands come out like the letter T. This time right comes under left, yep. And we cross and twist. So fingertips or elbows up, shoulder blades back, forearms forward. So you find this kind of rounding just in the upper spine. Beautiful, release that. Take your hands behind your back. This time, hands interlace, knuckles draw down and back. You're gonna curl your toes under. Sit your hips back, lift the arms up. So just we're revisiting toes pose from Tuesday. You don't have to take it. You can take tops of feet down if you wish. Slowly lift up, hands draw back in toward tailbone. Roll the shoulders forward, round the upper spine. Tuck the chin, head hangs heavy. Roll the head up over the shoulders, open the chest, drop the knuckles down and back. Sit your hips, lift your arms up. Slowly lift up. This time tops of feet drop. Again, round your spine. And in rounding, you're gonna drop your hips back toward those heels. And imagine you could draw your forehead down toward the tops of those thighs. So you let that upper back round, keeping the hands clasped, let your head hang heavy. Weight dropping forward toward the knees and down toward the thighs. Slowly release the hands, walk them out for full child's pose here. Extending the arms, hips are to heels, stretching that back in a neutral position. Slowly begin to walk your hands over to the upper right corner of your mat, pressing back through that left heel. Walk your hands through center, draw over to your left, maybe taking right hand on top of left as you press back through right hip. Coming back through center, walking the hands forward, shifting the hips up, tabletop pose. Round your spine, cat back. Push the hips to the heels. Shift your left hip to the left. Take your left hand over your right hand. So this time in this pose, we're coming deeper into the side of the body. Come back through center, keep the spine rounded. Walk the hands now to your left side, right hand on top of left. Shifting the weight back to your right through the hip. And use the space and the time with the breath to really become aware of the sensations you feel in the body with this stretch. Notice where you might be able to soften and let go just a bit more. Come right back through center. Walk your hands forward, happy puppy, third time's a charm. Come a little bit deeper. And then draw all the way forward once again onto forearms. This time your right hand is going to extend out in front of you. Your left arm will thread under and to your right side, sending the arms both forward through right and to the right through left hand. Feeling that compression in the left shoulder and stretch across the back of the shoulder. Slide the right hand back to push and create space. Bring the left arm out. Thread the right arm under. Send the arms in perpendicular directions. Forward and to the left. We're trying not to roll to that right shoulder. You want to try and square the chest off, even if, again, that means you need to back the pose off a bit. It's about efficient and effective stretching, not how deep it will go. And then slide that hand back, unthread, take the hands beside your ribs. Come back up, tabletop pose. Arms should feel pretty open at this point. You're gonna walk those hands back so you're standing on your knees. Inhale, reach the arms up. Interlace your hands overhead like we did when we were seated. Palms press upward. Good. Up and over to your right side. Now, from your right side, you're going to drop, the hip kind of drops back to the left shoulder drops in toward right inner knee. Feel that stretch right over the back of your rib cage on the left side. Rise up very gently. Come up and over, direct side reach, lateral to your left. And then slowly drop the right hip, drop the right shoulder. Feel that stretch over the back of the ribs. Good. Rise up through center. Hands down to the earth. We're going to take those little scapular push-ups again where the shoulder blades come up off of the spine and your chest drops down. And then round through that upper back, tucking the chin a bit. Scapula releases off the back, chest drops down. Round up. Good. Walk your hands forward, come all the way onto your belly. We're going to take everything that we've done and add onto it, starting with your yin or relaxed sphinx pose. So you'll take the hands and forearms in front, upper arm bones up, head drops and hangs heavy, finding your sweet spot wherever those elbows might need to be to get the maximum benefit of this stretch. Slowly lift your head. Tent your fingertips. With fingertips tented and navel drawn towards spine to protect lower back, you're going to press into the fingers, lift the elbows up, and let your chest and ribs sink down to the floor. So what happens there is you drop into a bit of a deeper bend in the thoracic spine, that space that's connected to your rib cage. We're going to drop that all the way to the earth. Take the hands out again like those little spider legs. And drop into your left shoulder as you twist and look right. Come back through center, drop into your right shoulder, twist and look left. Now as you come back through center, you'll take the right arm out, the left arm under, and instead of just sliding that right hand forward, you're going to start to walk it now to your left side. So you're making this little X cross, and you might hang out right here. If you can come deeper, you just walk the hands in complete opposite directions and let the chin drop over the deltoid. This is a little bit easier for the flat-chested in the group and or the men in the group. So, wherever you need to be. You're going to release that stretch and take it in the completely other direction. Unthread left arm out, right arm under. As you slide the right arm to the left, begin to walk the left arm to the right. Just finding wherever works for you, or taking the first variation of the pose that we took the first time. And slowly right back through center, hand underneath your shoulder. Coming right back. This time, forehead will rest to the earth. Hands will come behind, interlacing fingers. Knuckles draw down and back. Push the pinky side of your hand up, staying right here, forehead resting into the floor. Mine isn't just because I'd be talking to the floor otherwise. And then relax those hands down. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. Coming right back up, hands and knees. We're going to find a seat onto our right hip and take the right foot forward and the left foot behind. Lift your chest up, walk your hands over to your left side. So arms, chest, shoulders should feel pretty open at this point. We're working to continue to open the low back and the waist. Walk your hands back, stacking shoulders over hips. Right hand will come behind you. Left hand is going to come to the hip. Now, your options here are you can simply open the chest as we breathe in and then come back to neutral, or you can lift the hips and open the chest as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, come back to neutral. We're gonna do that 2 more times, either simply open or lift, and then back to neutral. Good, open or lift, back to neutral. And as you come to neutral, come through center and drop your upper body over that right shin. Starting to feel outer hip, inner thigh, which will then release into your low back on the right side. Walking the hands back through center. You're going to take your hands underneath your shoulders. Now we haven't done a lot in the hips, so this next pose that we're coming into is a deep hip opener that will open our shoulders at the same time, but be mindful of hips. Roll to your right shin, extend your left leg behind you, so it looks a little bit like this from the side. You can keep that right hip lifted up off of the floor because we haven't opened much, but you are going to drop your forearms down to the earth. If your forearms are all that will come to the earth, let the upper arm bones come up and the head hang heavy. If your palms come all the way down to the earth, take the palms to touch and the thumbs to the nape of the neck. Same idea in opening, just a different intensity. Release the hands, walking them back. You're going to find a little twist here. So just as we did when the hip was all the way to the floor, walk your hands over. And this time plant into the right hand, take your left hand to your hip, and drop the right forearm down. You might be fine right where you are. Otherwise, you're going to twist the torso open. Feel that in the low spine and in the hip. Release and come forward. Walk your hands under your shoulders. Curl your left toes under to lift that knee up. That's going to create space to swing the right leg out. So your right knee comes to the floor and you drop your belly and your chest down toward the earth. From here, right hand comes out, left arm threads under. You can hang out here, or you can take right hand to hip. And then you'll twist that torso open. A lot of low back here. If you want more shoulder opening on the right, take the hand and tuck it underneath the small of the back. And slowly back through center. Unthread your arm, unwind that leg, bend both knees and windshield wiper your feet from side to side. Relax the legs. Take the hands down by your sides and push back into your tabletop and over onto your left hip. So left shin is forward. We're going to start by walking those hands over to your right side and incorporating that nice deep side waist stretch. Coming right back through center. This time left hand will come behind you. You know your options, either open chest or open arm with lifted hips. Breathe in, take your variation. Breathe out, hand to hip. Breathe in and breathe out. Last time, breathe in, reach. And as you breathe out, you'll draw your hands right through center and come into that little hip opener. Slowly walk your hands back. So you're going to send your right leg back and kind of come onto that right shin or left shin to make space. And then walk the forearms down. And you can either drop the head heavy or come into that thumbs to nape of neck, chest opening. They both get into that upper thoracic spine and the upper traps. This one also happens to get the triceps, so whatever feels right for you. Releasing your hands down, walking back. You'll take your hands now over to your right side, planting the left hand, right hand will come to hip. Drop your left forearm down and begin to twist the torso open. If that doesn't work for you, just stay on the hand and angle. You're still getting a twist through your spine on the left. Walking the hands through center, palms to the earth. Make space by lifting the right knee and sending that left foot out to the left. Walking those hands down to the earth. Left arm extends, right arm threads. We take the hand to the hip and we open up into a twist. Either tucking the hand behind and underneath that waist, or just keeping it to the hip, whatever feels right. And slowly come back through center. Unthreading the hand, unwinding the feet, and then resting the forehead down on stacked forearms, windshield wiper those feet. Releasing the feet down. Let your forehead rest to the earth. Your arms are out like Superman arms. Forehead rests, chin is tucked. Tent your fingers, keeping forehead down, and just lift the arms so your fingertips stay down, but the arms are lifting up. So you're kind of feeling the traps squeeze up over the back of the neck. Relax that down, elbows drop to the earth, release your hands. Deep breath in, full breath out. Again, forehead down, tented fingers. Just rise the arms up as if those trapezius muscles are squeezing the back of the neck. And release down. Make that pillow with your forearms. Bend your knees, windshield wiper the feet. Feel the entire spine come back to neutral. Relaxing those legs down, hands underneath your shoulders, coming up through tabletop to a comfortable seated position. Now, once you rise to a seat, we are going to take the right leg forward of the left. So if you're, crisscross applesauce, you want to have right foot forward, even if that's not your natural cross. So let's take the left hand down and take the right hand behind the head. Imagine that your ribs and your elbow are in one line, so you don't want to be dropping down. All in one line, reach over to your left side. Again, don't let that hip lift up off of the floor. Imagine it's cemented there, and you're lifting the rib away from the hip. Now, reach the arm up and over that right arm, and then you're going to close the chest off, tap to your thumb on the left side. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, close off. So you should really feel that over the ribs and the back of the shoulder blade. Up. Last time, hold. Imagine tenting, maybe tent your fingertips. If you can't, just imagine that you could tent and push into the floor. So you're feeling that stretch over the shoulder blade. And then walk the hands forward through center as the torso folds over the shins. You should feel this release your low back. You'll feel it deeply into the hips, but that really releases the low back. And then walk those hands back and switch the way the legs are crossed, bringing left now in front of right. Taking that right hand down, left hand will come behind the head. Push the left hip down, reach the left rib away from it, and just feel the stretch. Relax that left arm out, and then open the chest, close and tap toward the thumb. Open the chest, close and tap toward the thumb. Last time, open the chest. Now, as you close, you can imagine that you're simply pressing back through the hip, or you can actually tent the fingers and press back. Whatever can be accessed in your body. Walk your hands through center. Fold that flat chest over, so flat back, flat stomach, in other words, lengthening over that left shin. Feeling the hip, feeling the low back release. Walking the hands back, taking the soles of the feet again to touch as we did toward the beginning of the session. This time we're going to drop right into that curved spine. So we're super open now. So from here you're going to grab hold of the front of the feet. Round your spine out, let your head hang heavy, and just slowly let the head and the back melt down. So you might find that you're kind of hanging here, just suspended, and that feels really good. If your body allows, you can drop down and stack 1 potato, 2 potato fists and rest your forehead. Or maybe the forehead rests inside the feet. I just had a pedicure, so I don't mind having my head toward my feet. Otherwise, I understand it can be gross. We're slowly going to come right back up. Take the hands to the outsides of the knees, draw those knees toward one another, soles of the feet to the floor. Hands come to your shins. Seated cat-cow as we lift and then round. Lift and then round. Last time, lift up. Keep that open chest. Turn your fingers to face backward this time. So similar but a tiny change to what we did at the beginning of the session. You're going to push into the heels of the hands and send the hips toward your heels. Then push and lift and open the chest. So much deeper across chest and front of arms this time. Slowly release down onto your forearms. So the fingertips turn in, the forearms come down with elbows bent, and you relax those legs long. We're going to come into a modified fish pose. So you'll scoop the hips up over the tips of the fingers a bit, push into the forearms, lifting the chest, and then drop the head back. So the opposite of what we did in that yin sphinx pose, we're taking a bit of a yin fish pose now, with the upper arms coming up and cradling the head and the neck into those upper traps. And then we're going to slowly release that, untucking the chin, or tucking the chin, and relaxing the hands down by your sides. You're going to take your arms behind you, interlace your hands overhead, press the palms back. Walk your feet over to your right side and take your left ankle over your right ankle. Without lifting the shoulder up off of the earth, just reach to your right side. So you make this banana shape with the body. Reaching to the right, keeping the shoulders rooted to the earth. Feel the stretch over the side of the waist. Draw back through center. Reach your legs to the left, right ankle over left ankle, and then reach over to your left side, keeping the shoulder blade rooted down. And slowly back through center. Take the soles of the feet to the floor, keep that basket in your hands, and then catch the knees in that basket as you draw them toward the chest. As you inhale, press your knees into your hands, the elbows extend fully. As you exhale, bend the elbows, pull the knees in. Inhale, press out. Exhale, pull in. Last time, inhale, press out. Exhale, pull in. Relax your arms out to the sides. Let your knees drop over. Now we usually just drop over to the right. We're going to drop over, but up too. So almost as if your knees want to tuck into your armpit on the right side. And then really reach those left fingertips to the left and take your gaze over your left shoulder. Slowly draw back through center, keeping those knees deep to the chest. And then as you drop them to your left side, imagine there, you could tuck high up into that left arm. Reaching the right fingertips out as the shoulder blade drops, and then looking over that right shoulder. Coming right back through center, taking the hands around your shins. You're going to simply lift your shoulders up, tuck your chin, round your spine. So you're really feeling that rounding right across the upper back and the back of the neck. You're going to relax the back down and then send the legs up. So just a few breaths in this legs up pose. Your option here, you can stay right where you are if shoulder stand is in your practice. We've done a ton of work to open the shoulders. So your choice to lift your hips and support them with your hands as the elbows walk toward one another. All of that opening has been done in the body, so it's your choice. Wherever you've chosen to be here, you're going to slowly allow your body to unwind and release to the earth. Now, if you have a blanket or a pillow that you can roll and place along your spine, so I have a pillow right here I can demonstrate with. I can just place it along my spine, and that's going to allow my chest to very passively open and release. Your choice. You can also take something and roll it under your knees to let the low spine release. But find the place where your body feels the most supported in rest. So the place where you can surrender the deepest. And as you feel the body surrender and soften, start to allow the mind to do the same. Imagining again that you could watch the breath move like rising light, but this time the light rises from the back body to the front body on the inhale, as if radiating out across the entire surface of the front of the body. And as you exhale, that light releases and melts the body down through the back, allowing you to surrender and come deeper. Using that imagery, if the mind begins to wander, you guide it back to rising, expanding, radiant light, inhale. Softening, melting, surrendering light, exhale. Until you fall into a rhythm of stillness that requires no effort and no thought. Simply stillness. Slowly begin to bring your attention back. Finding deep breaths. Allowing the breath to bring some gentle movement into the body, perhaps wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe circling ankles and wrists. Stretching in any way that feels comfortable. And gently guiding your knees to your chest as you make your way off to your right or left side. And from there, use your hands to press you to a comfortable seated position with eyes closed. Taking this final moment here as you rest in stillness to be fully present in your body. And be grateful for the changes that you've experienced through breath and movement on the mat tonight. I'll leave you with the following. This entry says, what interests you? Begin a journey of discovery. Find what interests you. Don't limit your interest to activities connected just with work or spiritual growth. Opening up to the world and all it has to offer expands your creativity. Discovering what your interests are, then letting yourself pursue them, will become part of your spiritual path. There are many magical things in the world, and people happy to teach you how to do them. See all there is to do. Get out of your comfort zone and discover what interests you. I actually learned today, I watched a TED Talk, essentially, and the guy said there are only actually two primal fears, two fears that we're born with, and that is the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. And every other fear that we have has been created in some way through our journey in life. I found that fascinating because I'm not sure I was aware of the fact that those were the only two primal fears we have. So allowing ourselves to be present, allowing ourselves to be brave and creative in these times can really help us become more peaceful, more content, and actually more healing to the world around us. So as we reflect on that, I'll invite you to draw the arms up overhead, allowing the palms to touch and sliding the thumbs to center chest. As always, I'll seal our time together with a single round of Om. Inhaling. Surrendering the head to the heart as you swallow in the back of your throat. Raising your thumb knuckles to center forehead. All that is light and love in me honors and shines to all that is light and love in each of you. Thank you as always for participating. Namaste.